Good evening, everyone. It's Tom Sydney Bushnell, aka Numbers, here from Sight Club and from my second channel, the Tom Numbers Show. And I've got my fellow 141, because I'm Tom Bushnell 141, and Mark Attwood is 141. And together, 282, 88 miles per hour. And not a lot of people know that.
Not a lot of people know that.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, I think.
I think you're good. 41 TSB. Yeah, I think you're good. It's wow, what a weekend. It's been a really cool weekend. Well, like a long weekend. It's been really good. It's been very good.
Been very interesting. Yeah. The a Thursday, I think it started Thursday, really. It was like very important announcement tomorrow. And then he comes out with the NFTs, and then mainstream will freak out about it and take the piss out of him. And then he comes out with that great freedom of speech, which was loaded with comms.
Yeah.
And then we have the World Cup final.
I know. It was bonkers. It's been incredible. What day did he? Yeah, so he spoke Thursday. He spoke Thursday, and his trailer came out on the 14th. Yeah, so it started 5 days ago.
Yeah,
it's been a long, joyful weekend. Yeah, so the NFTs came out and the World Cup. So should we start off on the World Cup and then we'll go back into the NFTs, or do you want to do it the other way?
I don't mind.
Alrighty. So actually, let's talk about the NFTs.
Okay,
let's do that. We're talking about the NFTs, and you've educated me on what they are.
Well, I'll just give you a bit of background on that because, excuse me,
these are Trump's NFT digital playing cards. If you're not sure what we're going into, so they're Trump's cards, digital, but they're NFTs, and not everybody understands fully what NFTs are. So that's what Mark's going to go into.
Yeah. So I got involved with crypto in 2013, I think, and tried to buy it back then. It was really frustrating, really difficult. Didn't really understand what it was, but I knew I had to know something about it. And I ended up going into this investment that I forgot about for a couple of years, and then turned around and it was like, it went from 750 quid to like 40,000 quid. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then I actually got involved in a crypto startup company, and you have to get your head around crypto because it was too important not to. Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, I do believe Bitcoin was created for trafficking and for dark web stuff. And I do believe it was created by DARPA or some organization along those lines. And I don't believe Satoshi was real. And I've met some of the people involved at the high levels in Bitcoin, and it's not so good, not a great crowd of people. And I was in London working on this project in, I think it was 2017. And I had to really get my head around it. But there was like one of the most embarrassing moments of my life when I had to go and do a funding speech in front of a load of Ethereum guys. And I was so out of my depth. It was ridiculous. And I just did a really bad performance. And every time I think about it, I cringe. But I did get involved in it. And then I released myself from it. And then all of this happened. And so I wouldn't call myself a crypto expert, but I do understand the premise behind it, and there are good aspects to it, like the blockchain. So a blockchain is basically an irrefutable ledger, which would get rid of a huge amount of corruption, especially in things like buying and selling houses, cars, where invoices are required and things, without it just gets rid of corruption, and it also gets rid of middlemen. Yeah. So the projects I was working on would have effectively have got rid of mortgage brokers and estate agents. So, not a bad thing, and would have allowed more people into the property market from an early age with fractional reserve and stuff like that. So, there's some brilliant minds in this space. There are some brilliant minds in this space, but I've never really been interested in money for the sake of it. So it didn't fulfill me creatively. I just was doing marketing work for this firm. But then all of this stuff happened, and I was very privileged to do an interview with Martin Geddes. It was the first one he'd done in over a year, about a year ago. And the reason he wanted to do the interview with me is because I'd released an online course as part of this journey, but I'd made it so, look, it's this much if you can afford it, or it's free if you can't. And he just really liked that concept because he's been working in telecommunications and business for a long time before all of this happened, and before he became the expert on 17 and done all those. Go and check his Substack out if you guys never heard of him, or go and find him on my channel. And Martin was using NFTs, which I'd only just heard about a year ago, non-fungible token. So it is a form of crypto, but you can't break it down. It is what it is. And it's often represented by artwork, which becomes a unique piece of cryptography, basically, which just has an intrinsic value in and of itself, the same way that a unique piece of art would have an intrinsic value. And and that value is based upon what other people think it's worth, or how supply and demand. It's
what the market dictates.
It's subjective, and which is what we found with Trump's NFT. So I thought when he launched the NFTs, the true story is that I saw it, but I was really busy, and I thought I'll come back to that. And then you rang me and said, "Oh, you need to get these NFTs because we could get to have lunch with Donald Trump." And I was like, "Well, I'm in." So I went and bought them immediately. And then the weekend started going on, and then we just saw that on Sunday the prices are going all over the place. And it's really interesting because I think nothing he does is by accident. Nothing he does is without a bigger plan. And we've talked through what that bigger plan may well be. And I think there's probably a list of things that we could come up with. One is that I think he's trying to teach people about NFTs and give people an early Christmas present, because his closest supporters and the people with the most amount of faith in him would have just bought them like we did. We just bought them.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going to happen to their value. We just want to have dinner with Donald Trump. And, so that's why we bought them. And as it turns out, with the value that they're currently at, we're effectively getting paid to have dinner with Donald Trump instead of paying for the privilege.
Yeah.
So I think he's educating people about financial sovereignty. And I think this kind of proves that there's an element of crypto that's going to be part of the future, which I've always thought is the case, even though people are talking about massive crypto crashes, lots of crypto I can't remember, NFX, the CEOs getting arrested.
It was FTX, was it?
One of them, yeah. There's weird stuff going on, and Bitcoin's crashing all the way. I think Bitcoin's crashing all the way down to zero. Because I do think that there bad intentions behind that in the first place. And when people find out what those intentions are, it will become worthless.
Yeah.
So, it was like, and also I think he was trolling the mainstream because he released that just before his thing about freedom of free speech.
Yeah.
Which was one of the best speeches I've ever heard in my life. So there's top of the head. Yeah, that's like a brain dump on the NFT side of things, and it's not going to be the last one, as you said. It's like first release.
There's another set coming.
There will be, yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be on the early entry list because we bought the first place. I think we might be. And what's to say that there's going to be something around Back to the Future in the next series? I think there might be. I think he might get the almanac out.
Tom, let's be fair. You think Back to the Future is going to be in everything, but I think you're probably right.
I think I might be right, because I'll tell you about Back to the Future today. So it came on the TV. I'm here at the hotel, so I don't usually watch TV at home, but I do here. I put it on, but anyway, Back to the Future was on in the afternoon. I caught it was coming to the end, so I went to ITV 1+1. So we got an hour of it. And I'm thinking, I should tell Matt Letizia about this, because Matt's never really seen the film. He's not a big film guy. Anyway, lo and behold, who calls me? Who pocket dials me? Matt Letizia. And I said, Matt, Back to the Future's on. And he said, I know. I actually saw it when they talked about the flux capacitor. And the other day, me and him did a piece on Back to the Future, and he told me about the Busted song that mentions the flux capacitor. So we had a good chuckle and laugh about that. And I was like, we're on time. Everything's all divine, So I didn't need to tell Matt. He'd already seen it. But then he called me accidentally to confirm he'd seen it. So that was brilliant. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you've got Rocky, you've got Trump, in boxing gloves. You've got him like a kind of John Wayne character as a cowboy, military guy, and Evil Knievel, and
well, if I can share screen, I've got a screen up where we can show people what these things look like, because I'm sure they'll
I
be.
don't think it will let me do it on here, actually, Mark. Unfortunately, have you got it on a phone? Can you pop it up and show? Or
No.
I don't think it would do. I don't think it would do share screen. I've tried it. I've tried it a few times. It doesn't let me do it. No.
Well, can you share your screen?
No, it won't let me do it.
Okay.
I'm just on the phone, so. But people can see it. If they go to the True Social, you can click on the link that he put up on Thursday and Friday, well, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You'll see them there. But they are great pieces of work.
Yeah, but you'll also see how he's trolling people, because he's dressed as a champion golfer. He's dressed surrounded by cash. He's dressed as a cowboy. He's dressed as a racing car driver.
Just as a superhero, like Superman, but with a big T.
Yeah, and I like the one near your favorite place. What's it called? Where the 4 presidents' heads are? I can't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah, Mount Rushmore. There's one with his face on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Statue of Liberty, and I always say the Statue of Liberty. I don't know the history of it. I've heard different things, but I reckon that's a key marker in the plan, because it comes to 198 President Trump. So I think it's definitely been turned to light if it needed to be. And the proper name, the full name. Do you know? I'll say anyone. I'll ask you, because you're the one I'm talking to. But people back home, does anybody know the full title of Statue of Liberty?
I think I did 20 years ago, but I can't remember it.
It's Liberty Enlightening the World, which comes to 320, and that comes to John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. So you've got 198 President Trump, Statue of Liberty, Calm Before the Storm 198, President J. Kennedy, and then you've got Liberty Enlightening the World 320, which actually I think came to 2021, if I remember rightly as well. But John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., John Fitzgerald Kennedy Justice, John Fitzgerald Kennedy Truth, and John Fitzgerald Kennedy Stadium. I don't know if there's a JFK Stadium around. We'll have to have a look at that. And John Fitzgerald Kennedy Stella and Project. They're all 87. They're all the same value as a junior. And going back to President Trump, there's President Trump, but which President Trump? There's President Donald Trump, but maybe Ivanka might be it, because across the water is Governor's Island, which is 192, which comes to Ivanka Marie Trump. And just across the water is Statue of Liberty. And the Simpsons predict that she'll be president in 2028. So we'll see. But let's get into this, Mark. So, World Cup.
Hang on the Statue of Liberty. How? I never understood how they managed to get it across the Atlantic from France, because it's huge.
Yeah. Maybe levitation. Was it Tartaria devices?
Well, it has a Tartarian touch of Tartaria to me, but who knows? And I just got to share this with you, because one of my favorite ever jokes, even though the guy that wrote it is an absolute arsehole, was Woody Allen, when he said, the last time I was inside a woman was when I visited the Statue of Liberty. Which still makes me chuckle, because I've been in it. I was in it when I was 17.
Well, when you were 17, kid.
Yeah.
I've never got inside it in this lifetime. I've been to the island a couple of times, and I've gone past it. How many times have I been to New York now? 3 times. So the latest time I just went past it on the boat, but I've not gone up it. But it did look lit, because last time there was all, last year it was all, it was more difficult, limited spaces. But now it actually, if memory serves me right, I think you can actually go into the torch. And apparently that had been closed for ages.
And there's some link with ISIS, isn't there, with this statue, if I remember?
Yeah, it's supposed to be ISIS. But also that's the other thing. There's a good ISIS as well. Diana's got an ISIS bird at her memorial water feature in Hyde Park. Hyde Park being 88 Trump.
Well, the flame on the statue is similar to the flame, which I think is a flame in the tunnel in Paris, right?
Exactly. Because
I remember seeing that in Paris, going, that looks just like the flame of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Or somebody called it a tulip. I can't remember.
But they've also, because it's another eternal flame. So you've got the JFK eternal flame. You've got an eternal flame there. One says there's also another meaning for it, but again, with everything, start to light, And so you've got the Alma tunnel, and you've got the almanac in Back to the Future 2. And Alma's 27, JFK 27 code. Diana, Isis. There's the Isis bird, the water feature in Hyde Park, and Hyde Park is 88 Trump. It's all connected. And what was I going to say about going back to NFTs as well. So NFT is 40, which comes to RV. So there might be a bit of a clue in that. And NFTs with an S is 59 Joker. So it could be a Joker card as well. Trump cards. Trump cards are Joker cards,
Well, it was definitely a Trump card.
Yes, it was.
And
it was.
Whoever's, just to explain to everybody, the value of some of these cards, they all cost $99. Some of them, we saw one the other day that's going for $35,000.
Yeah.
One of mine's worth $1,200, and the rest are all about $400 or $500. It's pretty incredible.
It is. It's amazing. It's
And by the way, you guys watching it, this is not, we didn't buy, neither Tom nor me bought it to make money. We literally just wanted dinner with Donald Trump, and that was one of the prizes if you bought a certain amount of them. And my attitude, because there's going to be people going, "Oh, truth is, it's all about the money." No, it isn't actually. It's about following things that are interesting, and the NFT things. Again, the same reason I got involved in crypto in the first place. It's too interesting not to.
Yeah.
And if President Trump is launching something like that, I honestly think he's trying to teach us something.
Yes.
So the best way to learn is to experience. So that's why we went ahead and did that. And
I'm probably not going to say this accurately, but just feel the intention behind what I'm saying, people that are listening. So President Trump, we spoke about this the other day, Mark. He's basically obliterating people's poverty consciousness.
Well, yes. Well, this is the thing. Like on my Telegram group, people started coming out with all this kind of stuff, saying,
"I saw it.
Oh, it's truth is after money. It's the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer." And I said, even if you're on state benefits in the Western world, you can afford $99.
Yeah,
you can. And if you could, and I think he's showing. Look, if you had spent $99 and you'd sold it 3 days later, you'd have made $700 profit.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like, and maybe that's why we've got to talk about it, is to sort of help highlight this a little bit more.
So President Trump is basically the archetype of the dream lifestyle, and he always has been. And he wants that actually for the rest of everyone, for all of, that's what Jasara Nasara is, the revaluation. He wants all of that. And he's therefore the example of it. And he said something on one of his, there was a little YouTube clip, and he's talking, and I think he was president at the time, or maybe just prior to it, but he was talking about wealth, and he said, he knew a guy, a very successful guy, but back in the day, he would just go first class. And he said, it's not for everybody, but he would go first class. And he felt this made a difference to him, to his mindset. And therefore, he became a very successful guy. And if you're heading forward, if you're focusing on that, then you're going to attract that, and you're going to allow that to come to you. But I would also say as well, from personal experience, we've now gone through I think the world is different now. We've now gone through a gate, we've gone through a portal, we've gone through a time junction where wealth and prosperity is for everybody, for all of God's children. And President Trump is the front runner, and is holding the torch, the eternal flame, and showing that to all of us. And so if you focus on I don't even have the words to say it, but it's a feeling. And if you just trust and follow what President Trump puts out, your life will become inherently better. That's my understanding. That's my belief. Dare I say my testament to him and what he's doing. Because if you follow him, because he's way more than people can understand. And if you trust him and if you follow him, he will protect you and he'll prosper you.
Well, he is the king of abundance. a manifest.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and it's incredible how it still winds some people up, because Satan has made this a complicated world when actually it's a very simple world. And I've been saying for years that this is an abundant planet, an abundant place, because we are manifestors. We can create whatever we want.
Yeah.
We get held back by beliefs that have been put there in places that we don't even know where they are, which is why we have to go through this great unraveling of ourselves, because the real great awakening is the one inside us. And finding out who you really are is part of that process, but then letting go of all these bullshit beliefs that we've all got or had placed there is critical. And I think that's what he's doing. I think everything that he's doing, and the people and the beings with him, is designed to help us get there.
Yes, it is.
But
if you look at,
go on. But then you get all these people going, it's not about money, it's about the children. We know. It's not like we don't know that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that spiritually awake people seem to have a massive issue with money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, stop it. You don't need to have an issue with money, because that was put there by someone else. That's your belief.
Yeah.
And then it's rubbing them up the wrong way, and then they're reacting and then defending themselves, thinking they're being attacked, but they're not. It's just like, you have choices in front of you, and you can choose to go down those roads as well to look after yourself, because this is all about learning how to be sovereign on every level, not just spiritually, financially, emotionally, physically, in every way. That's part of what I think he's teaching us. Definitely.
And thankfully that was just a few comments that you had out of your big channel, so it was just a small amount, but I honestly think that the way to it, and like I said, I don't really have the words to articulate it. It's more of just an experience and a feeling and evidence of it, that just plow forward, trust God, trust plan, have faith, and everything that President Trump says or does always comes to pass.
Yes.
So even if you don't understand it, just take the leap of faith and you will be prospered if you follow his example.
Well, Trump to me is representing God, and so is number 17.
Yeah.
And you can't really explain that to somebody who doesn't feel it themselves. So Exactly.
And so that's the thing. If people are all kind of having that thing, then that's their we help. I guess we help wake people up, but I think really people wake up and then they kind of come here for support. That's kind of, I think, how it feels. It's like
you can't force anybody to wake up. You can't.
No, you can't.
You can't shove it in anybody's face. It's just it doesn't work. They react against it, which is why a lot of the things that are going on in the mainstream media with Donald Trump is just like posts on number 17. It's all designed to lead you somewhere so that you can come to your own conclusions. And I was talking to Lewis about this the other day, and he made the point that it's about appeasing people's arrogance and egos, because they feel like it has to be their decision. It's the same reason why people who drive electric cars are so bloody righteous. And I know this word's going to upset everybody, but vegans, why do they sit there and say, I'm a vegan actually? Well, who cares? Why do you have to tell me? Just eat your vegetables and be happy. Because it's virtue signaling, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a race of narcissistic virtue signalers enforcing satanic ways forward, because they use these MK Ultra techniques on them, which now the good guys are using to undo that. And what I'm trying to say is to lead them to the point where they work it out themselves.
Yeah,
because you cannot shove it down their throats, and they're just going to get angry and resist you. And what all of this is actually designed to save lives, as from my perspective.
Yeah. And one thing on wealth for people to hold, just something simple. I could go through loads of numbers with this. Well, actually, no, I'll share a few, but these are the two main. So the word wealth is 69. Okay. And the word people is also 69.
That's the year I was born.
There you go. It's also the word enjoy. Now I'm going to stop you there before you even say anything.
I'm not going to do it. This is YouTube. I'm resisting the whole 69 joke thing.
So But yeah, so wealth is 69 and people is 69. Checkmate is 69. So the end game for all of this, people are going to be wealthy. But 69 is also financial. If you say financials, that comes to 88. That's Trump. The most precious metal on earth I did it on the tour, is a metal called rhodium. You spell out the word rhodium and it's 88. The atomic number for it is 45. Who's the 45th president? Donald Trump. If you spell the word 45, it comes to 126, which comes to a superhero. And he said, America needs a superhero. And America needs was 97, which is crypto. So everything is all beautifully done there. And then even if you do RH is the atomic symbol for it. And that's 26. That's God. That's card. It's game. It's flag. So all of those things add up. But everything that President Trump does is on point, and people just need to trust. And another thing, I won't be on the negative side of this because we'll move on. But when people start to react and it's also another flush out.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what
another flash out. So people reveal themselves. People can't help but reveal themselves. And it's like, okay, fair enough. And if they're not ready, or if they're just not with it, then that's fine. You just carry on. But you don't need to, don't need to be stuck in the mud about stuff. But thankfully, that's just a small minority. So most people are getting it and enjoying it.
Yeah, I've just been a little bit sensitive recently, and that's probably why I listen to those things, because normally I don't. I mean, 3 years of ignoring trolls, and the other day I actually took it on board for a little bit, and I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But things.
Well, there's always a lesson. It's it's worth addressing. And people don't be nasty to Mark. Mark's a valiant warrior, so you've got to love him and be good to him. So don't give him any hassle. He works super hard. I know what it's like to do I know what it takes to do what Mark does. So you've got to love him and support him because he's a great warrior. So no nasty or negative. If buts and maybes to Mark, you've got to support him. Okay.
Well, I'd say it's everybody's choice whether they want to or not, but because I don't really.
What I mean is those that come to the channel, those that come to Mark's channel, it's their choice. But if they're being less than kind, then just don't bother. Just off you go. Well,
I think they're arguing with themselves.
Yeah.
And you got to have a thick skin to do what we've done in the last few years. And I have generally got a thick skin, but I just felt a bit delicate the other day. So I thought it was worth addressing because, the other thing I said at the beginning, I made a course on how to make money online and how to monetize yourself and become more sovereign, which you can go and do for free and get rid of any poverty consciousness if you've got any left.
Yeah.
Because we're all contributing in all of these ways, and we have to address these subjects however touchy people get about them. But which leads me to the World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup. So the World Cup. So there were some major things. There were some really major things. Let's see where we'll start. So Elon Musk was there.
Or was he?
Well, that's another point. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put this out. Elon gets a hard rap as well. Now, for whatever people say, because let's face it, there's probably 99.999999% of all of us in this movement that actually don't physically, hands down, know what is actually going on behind the scenes. So we have our gifts and we have our intuition, but literally, there's not many that are actually dealing with the people, the main characters that we see on a global scale. So whether people think Elon's this, that, or the other, the Elon that we see right now is doing a great job.
Yeah, I was just pointing out that there was pictures that look very much like he had a mask on.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it to you.
Yeah, I'm just saying the line there was pretty. Unless it was Photoshop. Yeah, it was pretty. They're very good at this stuff.
They are.
They're very good at leaving clues, and I think So there was I did a chat with Harry, the Soul Coach, about the World Cup final a couple of weeks ago, and he was speculating and saying, look, something's going on the 18th, definitely, right? And with wishful thinking, he was talking about he'd heard that flying cars were coming out and Princess Diana was going to be there.
Well, they were flying whales, weren't they?
Well, this is the thing. So, what dawned on me, because I sat down and I watched the final, and I was thinking about doing a show, but I thought, I'm just going to sit and watch this. And and I've been
because you suggested, I thought, I just want to watch. Yeah.
And I've been a football fan my whole life. I grew up in a footballing family. I played football a lot as a teenager, and I actually really enjoyed the match. I got lost. I got lost in the match. Yeah. Even though I know all that I know about how football stadiums are energy harvesting factories, how they're used as cover for trafficking, how all this bad, how many, Matt Letizia has talked about it, how many footballers are actually Freemasons, the secret societies that are in there that the kids get drawn into at an early age, the Masonic stuff, it's just quite the pedophilia that's in the game. It's even though I know all of that, I still love watching a good game of football.
Yeah, and you say you should, and so you should. And the thing is, with it, so yeah, Elon, and was it Elon? So I've got some thoughts about Elon, and I'll share them. I might as well share them.
Do it.
So, and bear in mind, all the things that we decipher, there's a good side and there's a bad side, and maybe an indifferent side. But where are they? Actually, I didn't send them to myself here, so I'll just do a couple. So I have a feeling. So Jim Caviezel kind of got me on the thought pattern of this about a year and a half ago, and I've always liked Elon. And at the beginning of all this, it seemed like Elon was a really good character, and then people were like, "Oh no, he's not." And I'm like, "Oh," and then it seems like he's good. So I'm going to go with the Elon that we see, or whoever Elon is doing a great job. And whether it's someone in a mask, whether he's an android, whether he's an alien, whether he's someone in a mask, I might have just said that. Whatever it is, Elon is doing a top job, and he's in Back to the Future. Because the Twitter hotel, the Bluebird Motel, 138, which is Elon Musk Bank. It's got the Bluebird symbol, which is the Twitter symbol. It's Donald Trump. It's I am Twitter. All those things. So I've been thinking. So this is what Jim Caviezel suggested about a year and a half ago, and I thought about it, but it's kind of resonating more. So I'm just going to put the numbers out on this. So Elon comes to 46. 46 comes to best, and it comes to Dove. And Juan gave me this thing, a few weeks ago about the Dove Society, the White Dove Society.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, Juan is 46 as well, which is Dove. So, and then Musk is 64, which is Israel. Now, not everything about Israel is. So there's two sides to everything, The word Musk is also movie, which is 64. It's also Jubilee. It's also Tenet. It's also Zion. I'm not talking about Zionists, but Zion, pure in heart. There's other meanings for the word as well, because you've got to remember there's a battle for the numbers, for the numerical geometry in the universe. There's a good side and there's a bad side, and so that's what's been going on. So Elon Musk comes to 110, which comes to president. It comes to the power. It comes to the Christ. It comes to Marylebone, a central place in London where I was, and there's lots of things. Anyway, so I'm looking at this Dove movie. So Elon Musk is Dove movie, his best movie. Then I'm thinking, well, who died at age 46? JFK died at age 46, and he died in 63. 63 plus 46 is 109, which is 17. You spell the word, it's 17. It's a Pruder, it's Diana Spencer, it's Psych on my channel. It's all of those things. But then I was looking at the numbers for this. Elon is JFK. I'm just going to put this out. I don't know for sure, but I'm just going to go through this. So Elon is JFK. So that comes to 101, that comes to immortal. So both you and me are along the lines of believing that JFK didn't happen to him like we saw in 63. There's something else to that. And is he immortal? I would say probably yes. I think he's part of the New Jerusalem, the starship. I think he's probably Q, the Q. Someone else put something out yesterday as well, a tweet from someone, and they said they've been saying that Elon, well, they were referring to, so people that don't know, Jared Kushner, Ivanka's husband, was, and he's connected to Israel. He's Israeli, Jewish, but he was there at the football with Elon Musk.
Yep.
And they're letting everybody see. And this guy was referring to, I haven't followed his stuff, but the tweet post came up. And he's been saying apparently for a while that there's someone working very closely with President Trump that was like a kind of right-hand man, and it wasn't public. And he's been alluding that this guy was Elon and that Jared Kushner was the go-between. So now that we're at this stage in the game, Elon's got Twitter and everything's going on with that. The Twitter files, you've got the World Cup. So he was alluding that now that they're so far into the game that it's actually safe to, well, they want people to know and connect the dots that Elon is very close to Jared Kushner, because why would he be at the football with him?
That's right. I'm just going to run through a list of other things that I've seen, saw at the time and seen since, that also make this very interesting. And some of these you could prove or disprove, but they are interesting. So I remember that there was a couple of times the camera was above the stadium looking through the hole at the top of the stadium, and it was very similar to a reptilian eye, or the all-seeing eye, which is very, you can go and do research of this on yourself and you'll see that a lot of stadiums around the world have this eye shape. And especially go and look up the new children's hospital in Dublin. It is an eye. And there's a reason for that, and go and research that as well. Also, Messi, I've known about him and his Masonic roots for quite a long time. And he was, it was 3-3, the scoreline.
Yeah.
And which is obviously 33, but that could be Christ consciousness, but it could also be, again, it's a battle for the numbers, but it was just an interesting scoreline. France did nothing for 60 minutes, and then they were a different team for the next 60 minutes. And that was, can matches of this level be fixed? I just don't know. Or does it just work on a consciousness level? I'm not sure. Messi wearing the black cloak of a wizard at the end, collecting his medal, was extreme. There is a picture also of him doing the Baphomet single on the World Cup itself. Also, you could look at the blue and white lines and think of a famous chapel on Epstein's Island and put those two together. So there were, and also the guys were wearing these red bracelets, which is supposed to be, Kabbalah or something like that. That could have a double meaning, but there was a lot of stuff to look at, is what I'm saying. If you were going to decode it properly, and you could decode it and go completely mental with it, but there are things there that are very, very, very interesting. And maybe that's why Trump was talking about the 18th and pointing towards that. And it's just optimistic truthers who go, oh, that's perfect time for flying cars and Princess Diana. Because it's wishful thinking, because we all want that to happen, because you want it so much that but maybe it's just like saying, look at this, because I think everything that we're seeing in media and in sport and everything else is white hat controlled and is being used to be a thing for them to point back to say, see this, now do you see this, now do you see this? And it's all part of that consciousness, this increasing conscious awareness. And and there's a load of memes going around at the moment. Like I put one up on Telegram this morning, which was two kids, one saying, look, the signs are everywhere, pointing around to 33666 Masonic logos and all this other stuff, and the other kids going, oh, shut up, you're talking crap or something. But the thing is, people are starting to go, people have said to me to my face, ordinary normal people, Mark, everything you said is starting to come true. And that's been said to me by a lot of people that I've stayed in touch with, who bought the narrative, bought the T-shirt, bought into the whole thing. But they are using those words, and I think things like the World Cup fight, the World Cup itself, have been used by the White Hats in a really positive way in terms of shifting consciousness. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and the thing with Ivanka pointed to the World Cup as well. So she doesn't do many tweets, although she's done a few recently with the pyramids and other things. But she did a picture of Messi taking one of the penalties, and she's like hashtag World Cup and hashtag France Argentina. And then it's like later on you see, or maybe people saw it before, but you see the Elon and Jared at the World Cup together. Another one about this is Elon. Someone else put out, there was a Q post. I think it was 2017, December 2017. And basically it talks about, it's almost like Q speaking to everybody and saying, only 10 people know who I am, or less than 10. And then it talks about a few things. And then it says about retweeting. There's a retweet. It says, about a game. So like the football is a game. And then there's a retweet. And then Elon pointed out that when France equalized, it was the highest retweeted tweet ever.
Yeah.
And the interesting number about the number of retweets was 244. It was 2,000. It was, what was it? I think it was 2,444,000 retweets or whatever it was, and then all these zeros. So it was 244. But the post that was referencing this and talks about the retweet, the post number, the Q post number was 244. And 244 is also John Kennedy. It's time travel witness protection, and it's also that's a 369. It's witness protection 244. And
24,400 tweets per second.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just looking up his Twitter account because I don't know if you've seen. I hope I'm not interrupting you because there's a few things I think we want to touch on before we wrap up. And one is he's done a poll asking if he should step down as the head of Twitter, and the 57% say yes. And he says he's going to abide by the results of this poll. He also said for the next Twitter Files supplemental thing from Matt Taibbi, Elvis is in the building. I mean,
Yeah. So, yeah, they're putting it right in people's faces now, I think. So, okay, so get this. So I did the numbers on Kylian Mbappe. So that comes to 125, comes to John Kennedy. Dark to light, time travel. And I've been thinking that Kylian Mbappe may, because they've been saying it in the papers that he's an alien.
Well, maybe he's a super soldier.
It might be a super soldier, yeah.
He's extraordinary. I mean, you wouldn't want to go up against him.
No. And did you see when he celebrated one of the goals? He's looking up at the stadium, looking up at something in the stadium. He's there celebrating. Everyone's around him. And he's like, And then he does these two deliberate eye flicks up to the corner. And he's looking at maybe like this video screen of himself. Then he's celebrating, and then he does it again. And it's like, it's actually really hard to do that the way he did it. Like if you're there celebrating and then you move your eyes up without moving your, it's a bit weird. It's a bit strange. And then I'm looking at him, I'm looking at his eyes, and I was like, has he got this thing of, Jaco's spoken about it, about people's eyes. Some of them can be one eye can be made to do something like see super far and do other things, and another one, like his eyes look a bit like that. They're not at first, but when you look at them, one of them looks like it just looks a bit Borgy. He looks a bit beyond Borgy,
Yeah, he does. And he didn't do anything for 60 minutes, and then it's like he just got activated. And that's
what they said in the commentary on the TV. They said, and he came to life in the 80th minute. Is it like someone just went boom, Elon,
turn him on?
Whoever's doing it went boom, right, switch him on, and that was the other thing. They kept saying on both BBC and ITV, the two channels, they kept saying it's been scripted. They kept saying it's been scripted. This has been scripted for a long time. Da 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 da. The script. Da 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 da. They said it 4 or 5 times on between the two channels, and then saying about him being switched on, coming to life. It's like, what is he, Pinocchio? All of a sudden he comes to life and scores the goals.
What I did enjoy was the person playing Macron was trying to scrub his head, cuddle him, give him all this. Oh, my
Yeah.
friend. Oh, don't worry. You lost the match. All this, and he just ignored him.
Yeah, he did.
He just brushed him off.
Yeah, he did.
I thought that was great because
Yeah.
I detest. Je déteste Macron.
Get this on the numbers as well, Mark. So Mbappe, the alien, 127, the ace of spades. Alien footballer is 147, the trump card. And France striker, 147, the trump cards. French striker, strikers 100, time machine. French striker is 154, the second coming. Queen of Hearts. This is another one, going back to the trump cards. So I shared this with Derek earlier today and put it on my Telegram. But President Trump called those trump cards. He said they're called, so he's saying it, he said they're called Trump digital trading cards. That comes to 268. That also comes to military law of war manual, 268. And it also comes to Trump's law of war manual, 268. So there's all these things that have been put out into the consciousness recently. The other thing about that is Trump digital trading is 223, and that's the year we're going into next. And that's also military tribunals 223 and global financial reset 223, and that's the year next year. And so this thing with going back to the thing with Kent. So if you do Elon Musk is JFK. Just let's have a bit of fun. Let's have a look at it. 110 because president. JFK was a president. So Elon Musk is also 138, which is Donald Trump. But then you add the code 27 JFK. That comes to 165. That comes to resurrection. It also comes to Christ's bloodline, and it also comes to the visionary. So the Trump painting at Mar-a-Lago in the library bar. I was there last November. Got a photo with it. Well, I took a photo, did a little video on it. It's called the Visionary. Visionary is 132. Princess Diana. 132 is JFK. JR is alive. The Visionary is 165, which also comes to Elon Musk is JFK. And then you've got 148, which is Donald J. Trump, time traveler, simple gematria 148. So the title is The Visionary, Donald J. Trump. That's what's on the painting. And it comes to 313, which is lift the veil from your eyes. So it's like, well, who is Q? And so going back to that Q post, saying that, and he also apologized. That's the other thing he says. And Elon Musk has apologized in the last 24 hours, apologizing. Yes. I won't. So it's like he's using the same phraseology. And it's like, well, so who is JFK? Sorry, who is Elon? We've been led to believe that JFK is the one that really is the father of Q. And so is JFK alive? Is he being Elon Musk? Was that him, or was it Junior in a march with Jared Kushner? Is Elon a character? I don't know. But whatever it is, whoever Elon is, he's doing a good job and is doing the biddings of the team. Maybe the original Elon went a long time ago. I don't know. But there's something way bigger at play. And I think there's a connection between the two. And they don't even look too dissimilar. Elon and JFK don't look that dissimilar.
Well, all I care about right now is that this character of Elon Musk is doing something extraordinary on Twitter. And that's an amazing thing to witness after the last 3 years, because I just love seeing the liberals melting down, and it's freedom of speech. It's bringing that freedom of speech is the thing that's come to the forefront that people need to start thinking about. That's why Donald Trump did the video about it, saying without freedom of speech, you cannot have a free society. You just pure and simple. And so this is now in the consciousness, and this is really, really super important, because the people that have been most vociferous against people like us, they don't believe in freedom of speech. They think that censorship's a good idea. That's why the Twitter files are so interesting, because they really want to shut us up because it doesn't fit with this weird agenda that they've all got, which is, so anti-human. It's ridiculous. And all we've done is stand up. People watching this channel, everybody that stood up is basically standing up for humanity. Yet these guys would label us right-wing, fascist, racist, homophobic, all that nonsense. So it's wonderful. It's what's happening on Twitter right now is wonderful. What's happening on the big stage, things like the World Cup, is fascinating to watch. I don't get married to dates or stuff. I just like to discuss it, and because there's layers and layers and layers and layers to this. I mean, some of my favorite conversations are late night with you going, "Oh my God, have you seen this? Have you seen this?" And it's, that kind of thing is actually keeps this thing. It makes the pain of this spiritual awakening, because it has been painful, it has been difficult, it is tiring, it has been lonesome, it has caused divisions and splits and relationships and families and all of that stuff. But in the middle of it, it can be very entertaining, and I think that's what we're getting right now, which is a bit of a payoff as well for all the patience that we've all had.
Yeah. Pain is also 40 NFT RV. So you get the two, you get them married up together. US is us is 40.
Pain incoming.
Pain incoming. Painful 79, which is the dub, which is wonder, which is super, which is atomic gold number. So you get them marrying up. It's like, okay. But there was another thing. What was it? Another thing with the World Cup. So we talked about Mbappe, possibly a super soldier. We talked about so this isn't. Yeah. So I spoke to my brother about this. I think before lockdown, I felt the way technology was going, it would be very likely that within 20 years or maybe 30 years, we would see. And there's a film about it. You'll probably know the name of it, where it's robots actually competing against each other in sports. And I was thinking, we'll actually probably see there will be real players, but then there will be the actual robot version, and they're robots playing against each other. But I hadn't thought consciously back at the time, maybe we are seeing some robots on the pitch. Maybe we're seeing some Borgs, and people are like, oh, that's far-fetched. Well,
is it?
Is it? And I think that's what they were showing us. So they showed holograms. They showed whales floating around. So that you can see things like Jaws 19 from Back to the Future coming as a huge hologram, but it's a whale or whatever. But they can change that. So they're floating around in the stadium. You got Messi in the robes of whatever. People call it the Black Negligee, whatever he was, and that's iconic. So it's there. He's holding the cup and he's there like a wizard. And they called him a wizard, a magician before. And they've called him that after. They said it on the news reports afterwards on the BBC. They said, "Oh, the wizard, the magician." It's like, yeah. And Matt Letizia said, "I'm surprised that he put some Harry Potter glasses on him afterwards." But it was right there in people's faces, because that's never happened. And my brother noticed it. Those are people who've seen that. They're like, "What's that? You've never seen that?" Oh, it's just, it's a thing from the family. Well, would you wear that? And you wouldn't. But he's got it on. You wouldn't wear the opposing team's shirt, but they've got that on, and it was done deliberately. He's there as a wizard. So it makes you wonder, how on earth did he get so good? I mean, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has said he's an alien. Is Messi an alien? Is it all trickery? What is it? And then you've got super soldier Kylian Mbappe. He doesn't put a foot wrong when he gets activated. He scored 4 goals and still lost.
I know.
But he's already won it anyway. He won it last time.
Yeah, and he's he's only 24 and he's got 13 goals in the World Cup. 14.
Yeah. 23.
Yeah, right. Messi's done 12 in 20 years.
Yeah.
So
the super soldier. So maybe I didn't think that it could be possible. Well, I didn't, but now anything's possible. It's like maybe players are either under different consciousness, maybe they're being controlled, or maybe they do have some super soldiers, some actual cyborg players out there. And I think Mbappe is a good shout for being one, because you just have to look at the way he moves, the way he does everything, and then he can get activated. It's like all of a sudden, and they said it. This is the clue. They're the ones telling people. They're letting you watch it, and then they're giving the subtitles to it. He got brought to life in the 88th minute. In the 80th minute,
Yeah.
He got brought to life. So, but they know what they're doing, and the thing is, the White Hats are revealing it. And it's like, okay, so I wonder, what we're going to be talking about next year.
Well, I think I said on Telegram there were more reveals than the first meets the eye.
Yeah.
And people are saying, be more specific, Mark. And I'm like, no, go and look for yourself. Because
exactly. Look at Di Maria. So Di Maria scored the first, got the penalty, and then he scored the second goal. And then there's a picture of him and Paul. So my cousin Paul got in it. Did Paul, one of the players, number 7. So he's in there, and there's a picture of him. To Paul, he's a good-looking chap. He looks human. And then you got, bless him, Di Maria, and he looks like something from Star Wars.
Why did they take him off? He was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, well, apparently he had an injury. He hadn't played the game before, so it did affect the game for them. But look at him; he looks like you'd see, someone. He doesn't. He looks. I don't know what aliens look like. There's probably millions of them. But he looks.
You're looking at one now.
That's what I was just about to say. You're an alien.
No, I meant you.
We're all, Neon, the city of the future, that's come up. But we're all probably from different places. We must be, but in terms of, and they put them next together. It's like he looks like a character from the Cantina bar in Star Wars, and that's no, but he looks a certain way, but it was accentuated when they had him just front on profile. Like, he doesn't. Just have a look, like you said. Have a look. People have a look, and what were they showing you? And they were showing you a lot of things: wizards. Aliens, cyborgs, super soldiers. But it was a great entertainment. It was a great ensemble done with a panache of a white hat production. It was brilliant.
It was a great game. I enjoyed it. But anyway, I've got to go. You have a wonderful Christmas.
When are you off to?
I don't discuss my transport arrangements until I'm actually there.
Oh, okay.
But
I think you told me, but I can't remember. Anyway, whatever you decide to do, enjoy yourself.
Thank you. And
did you do something when you were there on your trip in November? Did you activate something in Morocco for them to get to the semi?
We did something there, yes, but I wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together to say it would affect the performance in the football. I think that was possibly more to do with the bribery. With FIFA and Qatar and Morocco. I think that was all connected to that. But that's another subject for another day. But yeah, we did do something in Morocco, yeah.
Put it on the map, yeah.
I don't know.
All right, buddy. Well, happy Christmas.
I mean, 3D me doesn't know anything. 5D me knows everything, but he doesn't always talk to me.
just have to get on the step ladder and go up to him. Just be like, come here.
Which I do occasionally, but then that's enough for now. I'll leave it a few more months and then go back. But anyway, have a lovely time. Great to see you, mate.
You too, buddy. Merry Christmas.
Cheers.
And
Cheers,
where can people find you?
Just go to YouTube, type in Mark Attwood, themarkatwoodshow.com, Rumble, BitChute, Telegram, blah, blah, blah.
Good.
Thanks,
I'll put the links below, and go to the Tom Number Show and Site Club if you haven't already done so.
We're doing a live show. We're doing live shows in April. We've got an email list. Tom, you've got that link. If you could put that up, that'd be great. If you want to, we've not released the tickets yet, but if you want to come, go and have a look at that.
There's an early bird list, isn't there?
Yeah, you've got the link. If you put it under this video, that'd be great. Me, you, Janine, Anya, Lily, and some other very, very special guests. Going to be an amazing few days live with us guys. But
3 days in Manchester and 1 in Ireland. Yeah,
that's the plan. It's the plan at the moment. We'll see how the ticket sales go. There'll be but yeah, Ireland's a gala dinner. Manchester's just a very special venue, very spiritual venue, and we did a show there a few months ago, and this is like the follow-up to that, but with us guys.
Yeah.
So
cool.
On that note,
all right, buddy. Have a good one.
Cheers, Tom.
Bye. Bye.